Hey guys, welcome to Yogalates with SJ. I'm SJ and today we have a full body yoga for beginners. So it's a yoga stretch. We are going to be stretching out every single muscle in the body and we are going to really find a nice release into that. So all you need today is a comfortable space to be. A place where you can relax, maybe somewhere that is nice and quiet. You might want to be on a mat. You don't need to have a mat. You might even just grab a blanket. If you want to, you might grab some cushions or maybe some little bolsters. Maybe finding a pillow to prop your hips up on. This is awesome if you are a runner or if you are somebody who is on your feet a lot, standing, or moving a lot. Maybe you are weight training at the gym, you might be an athlete, or maybe playing a lot of sport, or maybe you might have been doing some of the strength training workouts on the channel and you just feel that you would like to have just a really deep stretch to release into. So to begin with, guys, you can just take a moment here. Feel free to pause the video and get yourself set up. So you can be in a regular cross-legged seat, or you might take some little cushions to the outside of the knees to support the knees. Or maybe you might bring one leg to come on top of the other. Maybe propping the pelvis up onto a cushion. I'm just going to start here to find a nice release. This may be bringing the fleshy parts of the tailbone to one side, allowing the shoulders to roll up towards the ears and releasing the shoulders down the back. And then just starting to allow the eyes to maybe gently close or soften your gaze as you start to invite the body to relax here. At the same time, inviting the mind to start to take some time to release any circulating thoughts. Maybe just taking a really deep breath in through the nose and releasing that breath all the way back out the nose or mouth. And doing that again, deep breath in. A full breath out. And again, inhaling in, filling the whole belly, the rib cage, the heart center. And releasing that breath all the way out. Starting to allow the breath to be natural, allowing the mind to start to notice the breath, noticing the subtle movements of the body as you breathe, noticing the air flowing in through the nose and back out the nose or mouth. You might start to soften the jaw, starting to allow the tip of the tongue to soften to the roof of the mouth, just behind the teeth. Start to breathe a little more deeply, breathing in through the nose, allowing that ear to come all the way down towards the pelvis, and breathing all the way out, releasing, letting the hands relax more, fingers softening, wrists, elbows becoming heavier. Noticing the connection of the pelvis as it connects to the mat or to cushion beneath you, feeling the outside of the knees relaxing further, the outside of the thighs, feeling the low legs, the outside of those shins, outside of the feet, becoming a little bit more relaxed. All the muscles through the face, jaw, space between the eyebrows, the eyelids and eyelashes. Continuing to breathe in, filling the whole belly, ribs expanding, heart center expanding, and then flowing that breath all the way back out again. Pelvis releasing, hips releasing, and stress releasing out of the body. And then we're just going to take a moment here. If the eyes are closed, just starting to blink open the eyes here, finding a nice soft gaze, and then keeping that length into the spine as you just bring the shoulders up towards the ears as you inhale. Exhale, releasing the shoulders down the back, and then inhale, bringing the shoulders up. Exhale, bringing the shoulders all the way back and down, and again inhale, bringing the shoulders up, and exhale as you release the shoulders down. Let's go forward with that. So inhale, bringing the shoulders back, and exhale as you bring the shoulders forward and down. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, releasing down, and one more time. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, releasing down, feeling that long line again. So imagining that your head is balancing over your heart center and your heart is over your pelvis. You've got a little soft engagement of the core, but you're not sort of trying to really pull the tummy in. Just keeping it a very soft and relaxed engagement of the tummy. And then we're just starting to reach the arms up. So inhale as you bring the arms all the way up and looking up. Exhale as you float the arms back down by your sides. And then inhale, reach it up. Exhale, release it down. And again, inhale, reach. Exhale, release. And again, inhale, reach it up. Exhale, release it out. One more time. Inhale as you reach it out. Exhale, releasing, allowing those arms to come all the way down. Rolling the shoulders up, releasing the shoulders down. And then we're just going to cross the legs the other way. So switching the cross of the legs, bringing the other leg to come in front. Finding a comfortable position here of the legs again. Feeling free to use any props to prop up the outside of those knees if it feels better. We're finding that neutral pelvis, so kind of finding that you can feel your sit bones on the mat here or on your bolster. We're just starting to sit up nice and tall with that soft engagement into the core, rolling those shoulders up, releasing the shoulders down. And then again, we're just going to start to inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bringing the hands down through prayer. And then starting to twist towards the right side. You can just start to gaze over that right shoulder. Sitting up nice and tall as you take a deep breath in. And exhale as you start to come a little bit further towards that right side. Keeping your hips nice and relaxed here. Releasing the pelvis but keeping that length into the spine. Inhale. And exhale, unravel. Head comes back through first and then rolling back through center. Inhale, let's sweep those arms up, looking up. Exhale as you start to bring the hands down through prayer, shoulders relaxing down, twisting through the waist towards the left side, taking your right hand to the outside of that left leg. Sitting up nice and tall here as you inhale. Exhale, starting to twist a little deeper towards that left side, relaxing the hips, keeping length into the spine. Inhale, coming up nice and tall through the spine. Exhale, relaxing towards that left side a little bit more. Awesome. Inhale, unwinding. Head comes back through first, and then the rest of the body follows. Beautiful work. Just rolling those shoulders again up towards the ears, releasing the shoulders down the back. Finding that long line from the sit bones all the way up to the top of the ceiling. So imagine you've got a string pulling you up towards the ceiling here. And then we're just going to start to sweep the left arm up and over as you bring the right fingertips towards the side here. So inhale, coming up and over, reaching and gazing underneath that left arm. And then coming back up and over. So inhale, coming up, exhale, coming over to the left side, looking up towards the right hand. Let's flow with this. So inhale, reach, exhale, floating over. See if you can keep your pelvis down, your hips down and glued towards that mat, and reach up, coming over. Inhale, reaching it up. Exhale, floating over, finding a little bit more length through the side waist as you do this. Shoulders relaxed, flowing from side to side, maybe coming down a little bit lower each time as you ground the hips down, keeping everything still and steady through the midsection. We are imagining we are coming up towards the ceiling and we're floating all the way over, finding that nice stretch through the side waist. Awesome. Just doing one more on each side. Awesome. Coming back through center and bringing both arms up towards the ceiling. Just starting to interlace the fingers, we're pressing the palms forward, keeping the shoulders down and away from the ears, and it's almost as though you're bringing the back of the shoulders to the back of the mat. So you are keeping a really nice openness here through the heart, and then inhale as you bring the arms up. Exhale, rounding the spine, bringing the chin to chest, tucking the tailbone under, pressing the palms forward, and then inhale, lengthening back up to that neutral. So coming all the way up. Exhale, rounding the spine, chin to chest, pressing those palms forward. Inhale, coming up, lengthening, shoulders relaxing. Exhale, rounding the spine, chin to chest. Beautiful. And inhale, coming all the way back up. Exhale, floating the arms all the way down. Beautiful work. Just starting to come all the way off of your support here. If you are on a support, I'm going to bring our props to the side here. Just taking a moment here to arrive into a tabletop position. So we want to look down at the hands, spreading wide through the fingers, making sure there's a little bit of space between each finger, so you're finding little starfish hands here, bringing the knees to be in line with the feet and also in line with the hips. We're finding a long line from the top of the head all the way to the tailbone, and you're starting to turn the inside of the elbows to face forward. Sort of the left inside of the elbow will face towards the right edge of the mat, and the right will be over towards the left. Not locking into the elbows, so you're starting to really bring the core to be engaged and kind of pressing the shoulders towards the mat. Rather than thinking about pressing into the hands, think about pressing the shoulders towards that mat. We're just staying here, bringing our weight slightly forward to claw through the fingers. So you're taking any pressure out of the wrists here. And then we're starting to circle the pelvis all the way around towards the heels. And just keeping this going, trying to find some softness into the wrists and into the hands, and allowing the body to flow freely. You might just start to close the eyes here, or maybe finding a soft gaze, making these circles small to begin with maybe, and then you might find that they start to become a little bit more full as you move and everything starts to relax a little bit more. Finding some deeper breaths here, inhaling through the nose and exhaling out the nose or mouth. So good, you guys. And then coming back the other way, circling all the way around, sending back towards those heels, flowing freely, maybe just letting the head and neck kind of ragdoll down, moving in a way that feels really, really good for you today. Allowing the mind to stay present with the physical body, so noticing how the body feels as you move, noticing the stretching sensations through the body, noticing your breath, those deeper breaths, maybe really tuning into an ocean sound of breaths. You might notice as you breathe a little more deeply how your breath sounds a little bit like waves of the ocean, and kind of just focusing on that as you allow the nervous system to start to relax down. Awesome. Coming back through center, guys, and we're just going to start to bump the hips to the left, As you gaze over the right shoulder, looking towards the end of the mat, and then inhale back through center, keeping that flat back. Exhale, bumping the hips right as you gaze over to the left side. Inhale, coming back through center. Exhale, switching sides. Inhale, back through center, finding length here, and exhale, bumping the hips, gazing over the left shoulder. Just keeping this going as you move from side to side, finding a really, really nice stretch through the side waist. Beautiful work, and when you're ready, just taking your time to come all the way back through center. Awesome. We're going to come to our first downward facing dog. So starting to walk the hands slightly forward, so tucking the toes under, and then you're going to start to lift the hips up and just start to lower the heels down towards the mat. You don't need to straighten the legs. The most important thing is that we're trying to think about bringing the pelvis up towards the ceiling. So it's almost as though you're allowing the pelvis to lift towards the ceiling, and you might bend into those knees and bring the belly towards the top of the legs, finding some openness across the back, so across the back of those shoulders, and really finding a nice strengthening through the arms here. So we're not allowing our weight to come into the wrists. We're really, really bringing all of the weight up towards the ceiling. So it's like you're lifting up, and then you might drop those heels down towards the mat, maybe just keeping that lift up, maybe starting to bend one knee and then the other, walking the dog, finding what feels good here. You might let the head go, allowing some really cleansing breaths in through the nose, out the nose or mouth. Deep breath in, full breath out. Awesome. When you're ready, coming back through center, just dropping those knees back down towards the mat, coming back to your tabletop position, coming down onto your forearms, so just lowering down and bringing the fingertips to point forward, and the elbows are in line with the shoulders here. We're bringing the knees to be in line with the hips, and just looking down between the legs, making sure that you can't see your feet when you look down between those legs, just tucking the feet in behind so that you've got the feet in a line with the knees. From here, we're just starting to let the head come down towards the mat and just starting to release the head, letting any tension come out of the back of the neck, allowing the tummy to release, allowing the pelvis to release towards the ceiling. Breathing in, breathing out. Awesome. And then on your next inhale, just starting to gaze up towards the hands. We're coming back out onto the palms. So we're coming to our tabletop position. We're going to drop into some cat-cow. So staying in this position, just pressing the shoulders towards the mat, finding length through the back of the neck. So the top of the head is sort of drawing up towards the top of the mat, and the pelvis is drawing towards the back of the mat. You're dropping the belly as you bring your gaze up, tailbone up, and then pressing into the mat as you round the spine, chin to chest. And then inhale, coming up, gaze up, tailbone up. Exhale, pressing the mat away as you round the spine, chin to chest. Inhale, coming up, opening the heart, gaze is up, tailbone up, and then pressing the mat away, rounding the spine, chin to chest, and just making this as organic as you like. So you can kind of move in any way through the spine that feels good. Just starting to release tension. So important to look after the spine. Cat-cow is just an amazing way to really get into the whole spine. You might even find yourself sitting back a little bit towards the heels and kind of getting right into that low back as you tuck the tailbone and bring the chin to chest. Kind of just tuning into what's going on in your body and where your body needs that stretch out. So you'll kind of find those places, and you might even stay for a little bit at the place. For me, it's a little bit into my low back, so I'm sort of staying with a tuck of the tailbone and just sitting back into that and just breathing it out. And kind of shifting forward again. And inhale, coming up. Exhale, rounding the spine. Awesome job. When you're ready, just coming all the way back through center. On an inhale, we're just going to start to step the right toes back and just tuck the right toes under. And then just starting to press the heel back towards the back of the mat. If you find that it's a little bit hard on the wrists here, being on the palms, you can always make fists. So you can be like this, or you could even come down onto the forearms, maybe even kind of stacking the arms here. We're just starting to press the heel to the back of the mat, finding length through the back of that calf muscle, and just starting to allow some breaths here. So inhaling deeply, exhaling fully. And one more time, inhale and exhale. Awesome. Wherever you are, just starting to lift the right leg up, and we're just starting to bring the knee all the way forward. You softly engage into the core, and you're starting to bring the foot to come just between the hands here. So you're just starting to tuck the back toes under, starting to shift the back knee a little bit, and then untucking the toes. Starting to really allow the hips to be square to the front of the mat here, and we're just starting to allow the foot, that right foot, to start to heel toe to the outside of the mat. Staying here and just starting to allow a release here of the hips down. You might stay high, or you might start to lower down if it feels good, and you can kind of keep the hips quite square. So we don't want to be rolling over to the left. We want to kind of try to keep everything in the center line here. You can even open that right knee out a little bit, and maybe even sort of taking your right hand and pressing into the outside, the inside of that right knee, just opening out through the hip here. Or you might just stay either high or low into this. We just want to start to find some breaths here as we find a release into that left hip flexor. Should be able to really feel it in that left hip flexor. A really nice stretch here. Taking a nice deep breath in and a full breath out, softening out. Keeping that going, just breathing deeply in and fully out. Awesome. When you're ready, just starting to bring the hips back, and then starting to frame that front foot. We're just walking the foot in a little bit closer. We want to have that right foot to be kind of about shoulder width apart, or even hip width apart. We're just bringing the hands to frame that front foot. You're starting to hinge back at the hips as you start to lift the toes towards the face. So just finding length here into the spine. The knees pointing straight up towards the ceiling. Just finding that the head is being drawn up towards the top of the mat, so you're keeping length through the back of the neck. Really pressing those hips back, pelvis comes back towards the back of the mat. You might start to walk the hands forward and even starting to let the head go. Releasing down here, so bring the head to release to the leg. Finding a beautiful stretch into the back of the glute, into the hamstring. Wiggling a little bit into the toes. Finding that really deep breath in. Full breath out. So then twice. When you're ready, starting to slowly gaze up as you start to shift the hips forward, lowering that foot back down. And we're going to start to heel toe that foot to come all the way over to the other side of the mat. So we're going to start to cross the shin across the mat here, and then starting to slide the left leg along And you can be up quite high here, so you might be up on the fingertips. You might come down onto the palms. You might even come all the way down, maybe starting to lower down onto the forearms. You just want to make sure that the right hip is quite close to the mat here. So if you're finding that it's quite high up, the hip's quite high up, you're better to stay quite high here and just kind of melt into it. If you're noticing that the hip is coming down quite low and you've got your hips quite square, you can just lower down and just start to find that melting into this here. Maybe even coming all the way down. Bringing the belly to the top of the leg, allowing the forehead to come down onto the mat. The further back the foot is to the left leg, the less of a stretch, so more parallel to the front of the mat that leg is, the more intense. So you can kind of play around with that placement of the foot as well. Wherever you are, just finding some really deep breaths here. In through the nose. Exhale, 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 exhale as you release all the way back out the nose and mouth. Melting. Letting any tension, any stress through those muscles, just release out, feeling the body sinking down towards the mat. So good, guys. When you're ready, just taking your time as you inhale to gaze up towards the front of the mat, soft gaze, and walking the hands back. Tucking the back toes under, you're starting to bring the right leg to come back to join the left. Taking a moment here, let's just sit back towards those heels as you tuck the toes, finding a little bit of length here out the arms, but also finding a nice stretch here as you just let the forehead come down, letting the hip release, pelvis releasing, tummy softening. Deep breath in. And full breath out. Awesome. And taking your time to slowly gaze up towards the hands and shifting the hips forward. And we're going to start to bring the left foot back. So we're going to find that really nice calf stretch here on the left side. So you might come down onto the forearms, especially if you did it on the other side. Maybe bringing your head down onto those stacked arms. Or you might be up on the palms, or maybe those fists. Just finding what feels good here. Pressing the heel back, really tucking those toes. Shoulders are away from the ears, finding the length through the spine. Taking a really deep breath in, and that full breath out. Breathing it in. Breathing it out, letting it go. Awesome. And then taking your time. Shifting forward, just lifting the leg up. Starting to bring the knee in towards the belly. Engaging softly into the belly here. Bringing the foot all the way forward between the hands. And starting to allow that openness here. Letting the pelvis drop down. You can bring the left hand to the inside of the left foot here, maybe starting to heel toe that foot out a little bit so you've got a bit more space here. Keeping your hips nice and square, and we're finding some nice length here. Maybe you might start to press into the inside of that knee, finding a little twist. Or you might just come down into the forearms, maybe staying high. Whatever feels good, guys. Just kind of feeling into that, where the body is needing to be today. Every day is so different, and it's really, really nice to be able to practice just tuning into what's going on for you in this moment. Just allowing yourself to find a stretch, but without coming too far into it. Coming to a place where you can really breathe deeply, the most important part. being able to find some deeper breaths using your whole lung capacity, which we very often don't do in our daily life. We're often not using our full lung capacity, and that can really make us feel lots of not so good things. So it's a really, really great opportunity to start to find those deeper breaths, allowing oxygen to go to every single muscle, every cell, relaxing the hips and releasing when you're ready. Just starting to slowly come back up and starting to walk that foot over a little bit. So we're coming to bring the hands to either side of the foot. And you want to have the foot around about shoulder width or even hip width apart. You're just starting to lift the toes up towards the base, pressing the hips back, finding length into the spine. You can be up on the fingertips here. We can come down onto the palms. Pelvis is coming back, finding that nice length. The leg doesn't have to be fully straight, so it's really just where you can feel the stretch. So just tuning into that. Just starting to find the head releasing maybe. Breathing in and releasing, breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Feeling that stretch through the back, the glute, the hamstring, the thigh, calf muscle, maybe a wiggle into the toes. And then taking your time when you're ready to start to come back up as you inhale, gazing softly forward, shifting the hips forward and starting to come back as we start to heel toe that foot across the mat, finding that shin crossing. You can bring the foot back a little bit, or you can make this a deeper stretch by bringing the foot a little bit further forward. We really want to make sure though again that we are bringing ourselves to a point where the pelvis, the hips are coming down quite close to the mat. So wherever that is, you might stay quite high on the fingertips. You might come down into the forearms. You might bring the belly all the way down onto the top of the leg as you just release, forehead down to the mat. And as you start to breathe a little more deeply in through the nose, you might just start to send your exhale towards any areas that you notice are holding on a little bit, holding or gripping. Just sending the exhale to that space and invite relaxation there. Just inviting everything to melt down, letting go. Awesome. When you're ready, just starting to slowly take your time to come back up, gazing up towards the hands, and starting to tuck the back toes under, shifting the knee forward, and starting to bring that left leg back. And then we're just starting to come to our child's pose, so bringing the big toes together, the knees out wide, starting to allow the pelvis to soften towards the mat. And then just starting to walk the hands forward. And you don't have to have straight arms here, you can have a bend into the elbows as much as you like. Just starting to allow the forehead to come down towards the mat. If you're noticing that it's a bit hard to get the forehead down onto the mat, you can always use a pillow or a block or even just a couple of books stacked to kind of lift things up a little bit. Taking some time here to allow yourself to melt. You might bring a little roll from side to side of the forehead over the mat, maybe just starting to find those deeper breaths, filling the belly as you inhale, and then as you exhale starting to release the pelvis even more. Feeling the forehead melting further. The arms releasing. Tummy relaxing. Letting everything soften down. Beautiful, you guys. Taking your time to slowly start to come back up. So as you inhale, just starting to gaze up towards the hands. And then exhale, starting to walk the hands back in. You're going to come all the way over, taking a seat on your mat. And coming all the way down onto your back. Let's take a moment here maybe to bring the arms out a little bit wider, palms facing up, finding some nice length through the back of the neck, feeling a nice neutral head here, back of the shoulders connecting to the mat. You might just heel toe the feet out a little bit and kind of feel that connection of the whole left foot and the whole right foot on the mat. And we're just going to start to rock the knees. So bringing the knees over to the right side and then bringing the knees over to the left side. Let's just keep this going. And maybe as you do this, you might start to let the head rock as well. So letting the head come in the opposite direction to what the knees are going. Finding those really deep breaths here. Feeling the body relaxing more. Fingertips starting to curl a little bit as everything starts to soften. A little massage for the lower back, top of the tailbone, noticing that rolling pin kind of sensation. Head also feeling that nice release through the back of the skull. Flowing freely with those knees. Awesome. Taking your time to come back through center. Bring your left knee in towards the chest and just starting to slide the right leg long, or you can keep the sole of the foot on the mat on the bent knee of that right leg if you like. We're just taking a deep breath in as we squeeze the knee in towards the left shoulder, feeling a lengthening out the tailbone at the same time as really bringing that knee in. So we're finding a deep stretch here into the hip. Inhale, squeeze it in. Exhale, soften it out. And again, inhale, squeezing in. Exhale, releasing out. Awesome work. Just taking your right hand to the outside of that left knee, starting to guide the leg across the body, and you are just starting to find a nice twist here. So just bringing the left arm out, gaze coming over towards that left arm, and just finding that the back of the shoulders are still connected here to the mat. You might release both arms out. It feels good. Starting to find some nice deep breaths into the sideways. Melting, letting the pelvis relax, glutes. Everything releasing. Taking your time to unwind when you're ready. Letting the head come back through center first. Rolling all the way over. Just hugging that knee in one more time as you inhale. Exhale as you release the leg. Just stretching the arms long, stretching the legs long. Spreading wide through the fingers. Maybe a bit of movement into the feet, the ankles. As you inhale, just finding even more length from fingertips to toes. And as you exhale, just releasing, letting all of the weight of the body release down into the earth. So good, you guys. Awesome. Then we're just starting to bring the right knee in towards the chest. So you can have the left foot on the mat, or you can start to slide that left leg long. Starting to squeeze that right knee towards the right shoulder. Letting the feet relax. inhale, squeezing it in. Exhale as you relax it out. And again, inhale, squeezing in, using your arm strength to really pull in. At the same time, feeling the tailbone lengthening towards the end of the mat. And then as you exhale, just starting to release it, taking your left hand to the outside of that knee. We're guiding the leg across the body, finding that twist here on this right side. So just starting to slowly let the head come over towards the right, maybe letting the arms go, palms facing up, allowing the head to release over to the right. Finding what feels good here. Breathing deeply in through the nose. As you exhale out, allowing the whole body to relax down, letting everything go. Any tension, melting it out. Awesome. And taking your time, guys, when you're ready, just to bring the head back through center. Unwinding, coming back over onto your back, just tugging the right knee in one more time, squeezing it in. And then exhale as you release the leg out, bringing the arms up overhead, finding that big stretch, fingertips to toes, and then releasing it, and let's come all the way. To just bring the knees in towards the chest, taking a moment here to hug the knees, wrapping your arms around the front side of the shins or the knees, lengthening the tailbone down to the end of the mat. Any kind of movement here that feels good. It might be a rock from side to side. It might be staying in stillness. To find those deep breaths. And when you're ready, you can just go about the rest of your day now, or you might come into your Shavasana, which is what we do at the end of every yoga practice. Most people find it their favorite part of yoga. It's when you get to just relax and enjoy the goodness of your practice. So it's really just laying on your back and just allowing some silence and allowing yourself to just relax every single muscle through the body. So just going to start to do that. Feel free to switch off the video whenever you're ready, or you might just come and relax in your Shavasana and stay for as long as you like. It was beautiful to have you join me today. I can't wait to see you again soon. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Lots of other yoga videos on there for you, and also lots of other things as well. So there's some great strength training workouts that you can do at home, and also Pilates and yoga workouts, all free to you. So you might want to go check that out. Yeah, it's beautiful to see you. Can't wait to see you again. Namaste.